He has 3 sleepers at the quarterback position. And these guys, you're really digging deep. These guys you could use actually in a 2-quarterback league if you need options. But even in a 1-quarterback league, if you're in a 16-team league or whatever. But anyway, the first guy is Drew Lock of the Denver Broncos. We saw Lock finally have a good game after 3 bad performances from him. He finished the day last week versus the Chargers with 28 fantasy points, 248 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and and 2 rushes for -1 yards. But anyway, this week, he's got the matchup of all matchups versus the Atlanta Falcons indoors as well. So he don't have to deal with that bad Denver weather like he has in the last few weeks. And Atlanta gives up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks. And I know with Locke, he don't have great options. Phillip Lindsay, he didn't practice today. We don't know if he'll play. Tim Patrick's still questionable with the hamstring. Jerry Jeudy, he just hasn't got it going. But last week he found guys, Deshaun Hamilton, Noah Fant, who's a mainstay and a start just about every week at tight end, and Ken Hamler, the speedster rookie that they drafted in the 2nd round this year. So Locke, I think he could have a decent game. I put him as a sleeper, and he could get you anywhere from 20 to 23 fantasy points, I think. And that's not bad to go out there and pick up a guy, or in a 2-quarterback league, start him, who's available in 88% of fantasy leagues. The next quarterback sleeper is Kyle Allen of the Washington football team, and he's versus the New York Giants. He's got a plus matchup. He versed the same Giant team and defense in Week 6, and he had a great fantasy game, was Kyle Allen. 25 fantasy points, 280 yards, 2 passing touchdowns with an 8 rushing yards and a fumble loss. And then the week after versus Dallas, a 23 fantasy point day. So Kyle Allen, he's getting in rapport with his receivers. Him and McLaurin on the same page. He's hitting McKissick out of the backfield. He's got Sims and Logan Thomas. So he's got some guys over there, and he's making the plays. Is Kyle Allen. I like his matchup. I could see him again go for 20 to 25 points. And in 2-quarterback leagues, you could get much worse than Allen this week as your 2nd quarterback. And the 3rd and final quarterback is Brian Mullens of the San Francisco 49ers. To be honest, I think this guy has looked better in spot duty this year than Jimmy G has all year. He came in relief last week versus the Seattle Seahawks, and Mullens, he didn't waste any time. I know it was a blowout game, but Mullens finished with playing only a half pretty much. 238 yards and 2 passing touchdowns for Mullens. He started in Week 3 also, and he had a monster game then too with 343 yards and a passing touchdown. So this guy, he could put up yards. He's got a good arm, pretty good football IQ is Mullens, and he's not a bad option. I know his whole team's depleted though with no George Kittle, Bourne, or Deebo Samuel, but he's going to have to throw a lot if they're losing versus Green Bay. It's a home game on primetime. You know those games are usually high-scoring matchups. So Nick Mullens, I said Byron Mullens. Nick Mullens it is. He's a good guy to go out there and start heading into Week 9. So that's 3 quarterback sleepers that I recommend this week.